Hi, I'm Maggie Harding with the Swirlydoos Kit Club. Today I'm going to show you how I made the February tag of Savagery. Tags are fun, they're small, and I like to use them as a way of experimenting. I like to try new products on them. So they're small, and if you make a mess, so what? It's small, throw it away. You haven't wasted that much product, and so they're a good learning tool. We're going to use molding paste and mask, and we're going to play with drips and drabs and all kinds of fun things on this tag. The first thing we're going to do is paint our tag with white gesso. I like to use gesso underneath my mediums because if you make a mess with something or you don't like it, if you use a damp paper towel, you can clean up most of it. You're not going to be able to completely erase the effect of it, but it does help. And gesso also gives a little strength to the paper. Okay, you want to let the gesso dry. And now the next thing we're going to do is some misting. I'm using a Tim Holtz mask. I'm just going to take some Lindy's Winter Jasmine Gold and spray on randomly here and there. You can use whatever colors of mist you want. Lift your mask and you can turn it over and press it down on the spots where I didn't get any misting like there at the top. You can see it's not really an exact science. You can just do just about anything you want. By the way, I'm using the Swirlydoos March 2014 kit, I believe it is, Salutations. It's Prima Stationers, which is just one of my favorite collections. Now you can see we have some excessive mist in places. You can just dry it like it is, or you can pick up your tag and let those drips kind of run. I like to bang the tag against the surface of my desk to kind of help the ink start to run. Okay, now we're going to use some molding paste. I'm using a memory box stencil. I think it's called Rings and Puddles. I'm just going to do a little masking at the top and the bottom. The center of the tag is going to have embellishments on it, and whatever I put there is not going to show anyway. So I'm using Studio 490 Wendy Becky embossing paste in black. You can use whatever you have. Okay, after the molding paste is dried, we're going to add some more mist. This time I'm using Lindy's Cajun Carnelian Red, I think. I'm just spraying here and there. You can see that it's puddling, and I don't really want a real puddled effect, so I'm going to take a paper towel and blot up some of the excess. Really, there are no rules. You do whatever you think looks good. Maybe you like the puddles. Maybe you want to let the puddles strip. You can do that. You can do whatever you want. It's your tag. Okay, after the mist is dried, it's time to distress and ink the edges of the tag. So I just inked the edges with some black distress ink. Now I'm going to add some more modeling paste. I'm using Viva Ferro in Alt Gold and a Tim Holtz mask, and I'm just going to do a little random here and there. One thing I've discovered with the Viva products is they tend to dry out rather quickly. So what I've started doing is spraying a little water onto the top of the product and then just seal it up real tight. And it seems to be working, at least in the short run. We'll see how it is in the long term. Okay, let's play with paint. I'm using Art Anthology Red Velvet. I think it came in the March kit. And I've put some paint on an acrylic block just to have somewhere to put it. And I'm using a stiff bristled brush, and I'm just dabbing some paint here and there on the tag. Next thing I'm going to do is water down the paint, mix it up with my paintbrush, and then scoop it up onto the brush and put a big drop of it on the tag. Then you can tap the tag against your surface there, and you'll make drips that way. The drips run whichever way they want to, but that's okay. Generally, they do run down, sometimes sideways, but that's okay. Another thing you can do is scoop paint up on your brush and then tap the paintbrush handle against your tag, and that'll make little tiny splats. Or you can just kind of fling it at the tag, and the drops will come off. Now let's add some black splatters to our tag. I'm simply taking the sprayer out of a bottle of mist and tapping it over my tag. That makes some nice little black splats here and there. Always be sure to dry your projects in between applications of media, because if you don't, the colors will run together. If any of your splatters are too big, you can always take the end of a paper towel and just dip the very tip into the splatter and wick up some of the moisture. Okay, time for just a final misting. I'm going to add a little bit more of Winter Jasmine Gold and just dab up a little bit of the excess, tap it a little bit and let some of it run, and that'll be it. Now it's going to be time to move on to embellishment. Okay, let's take a strip of Timmy film and glue it to the right side of our tab. I had a heck of a time getting this to glue down. Just didn't want to adhere to all that mixed media. So in the end, I ended up using hot glue, which I don't normally use with film strip. But since most of it's going to kind of be covered and it's all messy anyway, what's a little bit of hot glue? In one of the add-on kits, there were some little tassels from Prima. Let's take one of those and glue to the end of our tag. If you don't have one of those tassels, you might have some other kind of little dangly thing you could put there, and if you don't have anything, just skip it. Now cut a strip of 5 little pieces off that bling sheet to put across the bottom. Just put some glue and glue it right there on the bottom over top of the little dangly thing. Okay, now it's time to pick out some embellishments. I've picked out a note card and a little fussy cut clipboard and a thank you tag. Go ahead and distress and ink the edges of those. And then pick out some flowers. I've chosen some Petaloo mixed texture flowers. Then use some pop dots or cardboard or foam tape to pop up each of your layers. When you're layering your tags, make sure that the foam tape is not showing from the back side. You want your back side to be nice and clean, so you kind of have to pay attention to what's going on underneath as well. I don't like how bright these tags are, so I'm going to use a Prima stencil and do some masking to give them more of a dark and aged appearance. After you've finished with that, then you can take your thank you tag and put it there in the center. Now I'm going to take some webbed ribbon and cut it up into little irregular pieces and glue up under my flowers. It helps to make flowers look a little fuller. If you don't have any webbed ribbon, you could use some kind of other ribbon, or you could use some leaves or vines, whatever you have. I'm sure you can find something nice. Instead of having a traditional bow at the top, I've decided to just gather together 3 different pieces of ribbon and just tie them together at the top into a single knot. This is more of a rustic look than a traditional bow would be. Okay, let's add one more flower right there. And then I think a little bit more mist. Just kind of spray on, dab a little bit. There, I'm happy with that. Now I think it's time to add just a little bit more because you can never have too much. So I'm adding a couple of pin nibs over top of the film strip, one at the bottom and one at the top. Then I think I might like to add a butterfly in the upper left corner. Yes, I like that. And I think I'll top that with a little piece of bling like we have down there at the bottom. Yep, I like that. This will be a great tag to put with a hostess gift. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see what you do with your Savagery tag this month.